everyone. This is Deb with Four Seasons Crafts. I am going to show you how to make a pretty simple card, but I think it looks very, very elegant. So let me tell you, we're just going to dive right in. I'm going to show you the supplies we're going to use. So the first thing we're going to need is an 11 by 4 1/4, and this is real red. Then you're going to need 2 pieces of basic white that are cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So just 1/8 of an inch smaller than 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So we were using them for smaller margins. Then you're going to take a piece of this perfectly penciled card designer series paper, and let me go ahead and show you. This is the page that we're using. And let me flip it over. So it's just black and white. It's absolutely beautiful, but lots of different patterns in this. I won't show them all to you, but everything is black and white. So obviously the front is more white and then the back is more black. So if you're looking for a way to make some very simple cards, few supplies, this is a great set of paper to use. So the other thing we need is we're going to need a strip that is 1 inch by 4 inches of basic black. And then you're going to need a strip that is 3 1/4 by 4 inches in basic white. And I've already stamped my greeting. You can use any greeting you want for this card. I actually, and I will tell you guys where I got this, kind of a plug for Paper Pumpkin. Paper Pumpkin offered a stamp set, and they gave you a kit, and in that kit they also gave you an additional stamp set, and this was it. And I actually used the Celebrate from this, and I was looking for something that was long. I have some other stamps, but this one was the closest, so that's the one I used. Let me show you. I am gonna give you one more plug here. This is called Peaceful Moments. This is probably my favorite set of greetings, and it's still in the catalog, which I'm so grateful for. But it has everything. It's just the happy birthday, which is what I wanted this card to be. So I thought, congratulations. I can make it a happy birthday with the inside. This one was more on top, and that's I wanted something that was longer. So this is it. So outside of these supplies, the other things we're going to need is a sponge dauber with some basic gray ink. Then we also have our Stampin' blends, and I'm using Real Red, Parakeet Party, and some Flirty Flamingo. This is pretty light on the card. Don't use it a whole lot. So it's basically these two. And again, you can use any colors that you would like. It's more of a technique that I'm going to show you. The other thing we're going to use, of course, is some Wink of Stella. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take this piece of designer series paper, and we are going to do some coloring with Stampin' blends. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to just focus on these two flowers and this stem and this stem. And that's all we're going to color in. So we're going to kind of give it that ability to really show just those two colors is it. So we're going to start with our dark red, and we're going to start with the brush end. And all I'm going to do is go over it, kind of wisp over the lines that are already in the flower. And then I'm going to go over the shaded part, and then put a little bit of a darker color at the bottom. So darker color at the bottom, and then really just go over those, the lines that are in the top. And so for those of you who may not know, or maybe it's the first time that you're kind of tuning in to a video about crafting, can you guys hear the pitter patter of dog's feet, right? Okay, so what the difference is between Stampin' blends, which is what these are, and like Stampin' Right markers, these are going to blend much better. So, you know, on a Stampin' Right marker, if you were to color in this much content or this much, you know, this much of an image, you would maybe get some streaks. If you're coloring in just a very small area, not a problem whatsoever. You're going to get some beautiful colors using the Stampin' Right markers. But if you are looking to color in large areas, you sometimes can get more of the streak. These are alcohol, so they end up blending a lot better, and they really truly and even if they don't look like they're very nice when you're doing them, it is amazing how they lighten up and you really get some beautiful effects. So now we're going to go with our lighter color inside each one of these flowers. And again, I'm going to go over the dark areas again and kind of pull a little bit of that color up and then go around. So it's, and you'll notice I put a piece of scrap paper because one thing about these alcohol markers is they do bleed through. So when you color something, you really need to make sure it's going to be a layer and not something that's you're planning on showing the other side of the card, because, and I'll show you. So this is where we are so far, but then this is the back. So it does bleed through. And again, you'll notice none is on this paper here, but I do keep it on. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and continue this a little faster. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to go ahead and put just a few of these Flirty Flamingo dots in the middle, and we'll do a little bit of both shades. And again, this is just a lighter color. We could use something that's a little more bold. This one's pretty light. And now we're going to do the same thing with the green leaf. So again, we're looking at this leaf here and this here. And all we're going to do is we're going to just take the really light, or the dark color, I'm sorry, and we're going to do the same thing, kind of blend where the lines are. And then we're going to bring in our lighter color to do our blending. And it's just, and this again is Parakeet Parties. This is one of the new in colors. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing with the light. Just go over it and blend it in. Okay, there we have it. Look at that, guys. So that is all we're going to put on the card as far as color goes. We are, I just noticed I missed a little spot here. So we just want this to be kind of our focal point, but again, we're not going to leave the rest of the card plain like it is. Now, I want to show you, I'm going to layer this on this piece of white cardstock like this. But you see, it's just very, very kind of stark around the edges there. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our sponge dauber and our basic gray, and we are just going to touch up the ends of this card. So we're just going to pop this in, and all we're doing is just kind of going around the edges like this and give it just a little bit of a softer look. So again, just kind of brushing along the whole edge of the card. This will also give us a chance. Our blending can dry a little bit. And again, you just kind of put it a little bit at an angle and then just go right across it. I'm going to do a little bit more up here. And then you can see it's just like a little bit of a shadow effect, I guess, that you're going to get. Now, I'm also going to go ahead and do that to one of these pieces of white because we're going to use it on the inside of our card, and we want that same kind of textured look. So we're going to do the exact same thing along the edges for the inside of our card and take that, you know, same technique. Kind of gives it a little bit of a weathered look here, doesn't it? Okay, here we go. All right, there we have it. We'll put this away now. Okay, now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take our piece of basic white and we're going to go ahead and adhere that right to our card base. And we're just going to use some Tombow here. And pop that right on there. And you want your color to be at the top for this particular card. Now you can obviously pick and choose because really it's just wherever we're going to put our sentiment and our greeting. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our small piece of basic black and this piece of white, and we're going to go ahead and adhere this to our piece of basic black. And this one, we're actually going to just make sure that we have the same amount of space above and below, and then the ends meet up. So I really like cutting this sometimes because you only have to worry about the space above, and everything is a little bit of a simpler measurement, right? It's all 4 inches. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take this one and we're going to adhere it directly to the card. I do have another one that I did not do this to. I will show you. I actually put it up on dimensional so you'll be able to see the difference, and they both I think look very nice. Oh, and we're going to put this about 1 inch up from the bottom. And what it's going to do is it's going to cover a lot of that place here that's not colored in, and because we really again want that to be our focal point, but yet we don't see just a big piece of white that's going to draw our eye away from this part of our image. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and take our piece of basic red here, and you're going to score it or use your bone folder to fold it at 5.5. And I normally score this, and I didn't, so I'm a little awkward. But just take your bone folder and you can just crease that edge very nicely. All right, there we go. So we're going to go ahead and take the inside of our card first, and let's go ahead and put this in there, and then we will finish the front of our card. Here we are. So you can see how you get that really nice kind of deckled look, which there are deckled dies, by the way, that make that kind of a deckled edge there. But if you don't have those yet, which I don't either, you can kind of get that same look with just some of your ink pads and a sponge dauber. Now we're going to take this and we're going to adhere to the front, and then we are going to add a little wink of Stella, and that will be it. So again, a very simple card, but very elegant. All right, there we go. And now we're just going to put some wink of Stella on here, and then you're going to see and there you go. And let me show you the first one I did that's actually up on dimensionals. And there you have it. So I hope you guys liked this card. Hopefully you can see the sparkles. Yeah, there you go. And then here's the sparkles in this one. And that is it. So I hope you guys liked it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Alrighty, thanks guys, bye.